It may be a few months away, but it does appear that someone at least has learned their lesson regarding woke messages, particularly when you rely on public funding to make sure that your business survives. What are we talking about? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Lovely to see you today. By the way, this particular story does resonate with so many people, as I'm sure. And I don't know if you remember the story we gave you a couple of weeks back now about the people pouring all the milk onto the floor in the department store at Harrods. They were from Animal Rebellion. And we told you that there apparently were going to be no charges pressed against these people. And I did feel really sorry for all the cleaners and the people that would have to clean up after these ridiculous people trying to make a statement. More than that though, get this, Harrods have decided not to charge them for wasting all of that product on the floor. Could you be any more daft? I mean, really, you do have to think it's all very well having a woke message, but if the public feel that they can just get away with it, then simply why not storm into Harrods and just help yourself to milk? If they're willing to let it go over the floor, why should you pay for it? Incredibly ridiculous, isn't it, when you think about it? But this particular story centres on Remembrance Sunday, our big event, of course, to remember all the wonderful men and women who did so much for us during those world wars. Because last year, at the Imperial War Museum, of all places, they allowed a woke rap against the former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill to take place. Now, this created an absolute backlash, as you can imagine. And what I find incredible about things like this is when you think about it, did nobody check to see exactly what these performers were doing? A lot of people stormed out of the celebrations at the Imperial War Museum, and more importantly, as I say, they lost a lot of support, not just in the public, but in revenue and goodwill, really, because it is one of those places I would recommend if you do come to London and want to get a real slice of our wonderful history and culture. But seemingly now, well in advance I might point out, in August, the Imperial War Museum are letting it be known that no such event will be taking place this year. According to a very good source, the bosses behind the Imperial War Museum were very concerned about the woke messages that were put out, and they didn't in fact fact check to see what lyrics this rap contained. What you could really transcribe that as is it's been a very tough financial year, and perhaps people going to visit this museum have fallen dramatically given the bad publicity. So they're taking no chances this year in making sure they secure the right mood. I think this could be a turn in the tide of the woke messages by so many people around the world. There's only so many that will put up with this, that interrupt their lives, disrupt their fun, and more importantly, stain the people who have done so much for our country. While these activists, seemingly who have done nothing so far, want to ruin all the goodwill for those that have gone before us. As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Are we seeing a turning tide about woke messages? Or is it as big as ever in your part of the world? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.